Welcome to Level Up Gaming Success Stories. What's going on, people? I'm your host with the most, the one and only Mr. Midas. Welcome to Black Tech Divisions. I am a BTD gamer. Now, in the show, we give you the insight and the know-how to what is happening in the gaming industry, so you can be up to date with everything you need. Now, I'm a BTD gamer, and you should come and join our community. How do you do this? Well, you can join our Discord. You can catch us streaming over on Twitch. Hit us up on the socials, or simply hit that subscribe button and be part of the BTD family. Now, on today's episode, I'm feeling super special and honored because we have someone that is extremely important and extremely insightful, because he was previously employee research group and partnership manager for Ubisoft. He worked on games like Far Cry 6. We are talking, he's currently doing social and digital marketing management for Xbox Canada, flexing. And he was the co-creator to Black Game Pros, and I was even lucky enough to be featured on that. Kurston, welcome to Level Up. How are you doing today, my G?
I love working with you. You come through with the energy. You have the hype. I am very honored to be here. Honestly, I'm good. It's been a good year. It's been a good couple of weeks. I'm in a very good mood today.
I love that. That's great. All right, we're going to start it straight away with our quick fire questions. I'm firing you back straight onto the spot. So the first question is, what would you tell an 8-year-old you? So if you could go back in time, what one piece of advice would you give to 8-year-old you?
I would tell 8-year-old me impossible is nothing. I come from a Caribbean background, and jobs in gaming, jobs in art weren't really a thing. So I tell them, keep playing games, keep doing art, and believe in your dreams. That's it. It's simple.
I love that. Impossible is nothing, and believe in your dreams. All right, cool. Next quick fire question. What is a game that you love? Tell me a game that's super special to you.
Honestly, top of mind, Pokemon Diamond. It is by far my favorite Pokemon game of all time. A Piplup, which you'll see over here, is my favorite Pokemon of all time. So yeah, it has to be Pokemon Diamond.
I see all your Pokeballs up there looking super dope. Do you know what? I wish I loved Pokemon as much as everyone else, but we're not going to get into that right now. And what is your favorite console ever?
Loaded question. So to answer it, Xbox pays me. I love Pokemon, and I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now. So maybe that answers the question.
Everything. Everything. All right, cool. So here at Level Up, we like to really get the inside knowledge from people who've worked in the industry. I've known you for a long time, and you've worn different hats, and you've had such a diverse and dope career. But I wanted to know, how did you get your first job in the gaming industry?
Yeah, so my first job in gaming was as a QC tester at Ubisoft Toronto. And there's also a lot of stigma behind QC, QA, because people don't technically consider them devs, but they're the first in the project and the last out the project. So they live the longest tenure for the project. And I got this job in 2017. I had two friends who worked at Toronto at the time, and they told me a position was available. I threw my hat in the ring, and the rest is history. So a little context to that is, I went to school for game dev for about a year and a half. Then I dropped out. I had a major death in the family. And from that time until I actually got my job was a 7-year span of just applying and working on my portfolio. So it was a very genuine experience during the interview to be validated in the skills that I have. But yeah, shout out to Ubisoft Toronto for giving me a shot.
So what's the difference between a QA and a QC? So for anyone who doesn't know, QAs are basically testing the games before they actually come out and release, testing it for bugs, making sure the game's running. But what's the difference between a QA and a QC?
They're actually one and the same. But what people don't know is that when it comes to devs and testing, there's so many aspects of QA and QC. So I work QA QC for the art side. So a little team called Object Bank. So any asset you see in the world, from props to buildings, vegetation, cars, we make sure that that was up to art standards. And then we made sure the artists got our notes and our bugs and this, that, and the third and all that.
That's dope. So we recently had a BTD Gamers event, And my brother Mini Midas came down and he was talking, because he currently works as QA for Media Molecule, and he was talking about his background. And something you said to me just now was super poignant. So you were saying that you actually went, you studied, and then you had a 7-year lifespan where you was actually just applying for roles and stuff like that. So in terms of that time, what was you working on? You said you was working on your portfolio. Can you give us a bit more of a breakdown of what that means?
Yeah, so first and foremost, shout out to the school of YouTube, because I learned tutorials through and through. My background is 3D art, so I was looking at things like the 3D Studio Max, Mudbox, Maya, learning how to make props, learning how to do like little animations within these things as well. So just learning how to get good, for lack of a better phrase, and that's what I did for the 7 years.
That's dope. So one of the things that's really important to me is making sure that we break down certain stigmas. And sometimes people are scared to ask the obvious questions. And I never want people to not being able to feel educated to answer it. So simply, what is a game developer? For someone who doesn't actually understand what that term means, what does it mean to be a game developer?
Yeah, being a game developer is someone who is a part of an eclectic mix of people who create games. A game developer could be someone who is in like writing, scripting, 3D art, VFX, level design, level environment design, uh, various artists, producers, directors. Like, there's so many different hats that can be worn within the title game dev. But for the most part, a game developer is someone who makes games.
Yeah, and that's basically like the simple term. And what's dope, like you said, is there's so many roles within that. So if you are in a really kind of artistic style and you're good at drawing or creating, there's game devs that done that. If you're really great with numbers, or you prefer just to sit at computers and program stuff, there's such a broad range of roles within game development. And I don't want people to just think, oh, just because it's game development, you just have to be good at one set of skills. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I really would. And one thing to bring it back to QA, working in the Object Bank team, I work closely with animators, 3D artists, project managers, level artists, and kind of saw a lot of different roles within art before I kind of chose the path I want to go into. So, all in all, yeah, you're working with a really tight team of different job families that you're going to be tapping into on a daily basis.
That's dope. Because one thing I really want to know is, what would you define as one of the biggest challenges working in the gaming industry?
Challenges come depending on your studio, your environment, like where you're at. I will only speak to myself. One of the biggest challenges I had getting into the industry to start with was my lack of education, quote unquote, because I didn't graduate school. I don't have a diploma. All my peers do. So it's like, in the application process, before, people used to be like, all right, you're not graduated, so you're not going to get a job. But I really, really believe in really selling transferable skills.
Yeah.
So if you do art and you're a great communicator and you've worked retail your whole life as a manager, you can do coordination, you could do project management, right? Because you have the same core skills. So it's really breaking down the barriers of what a traditional way to get to a job is versus the non-traditional way, which is the path that I took.
Yeah, that's dope. So really using the skill sets of any other job that you've had, any other role, even stuff that you've done at school, to be able to take you in that position. So you not going the education route that your peers went. How did you make sure you stood out in these applications and in these interviews?
I'm too competitive for my own good, so I have to make sure that I was better than anyone in the room.
I love that. What would you say would be the poignant things that you can, just off the top of your head, maybe one thing you can say, I made sure I did this one thing to stand out compared to everyone else who was ready for that interview process?
So I answer that in two folds. Number one, showing your personality. Like, you don't ever want to come off as a cog in the machine or someone who just wants to say the right things so people will look at you. Like, show your personality, show who you are, because you're going to be important to the team you're going to be a part of. And second of all, like, be very knowledgeable on the craft. So for example, during my QA/QC like interview, I was applying for a 3D art role, so I spoke to 3D art. I spoke to what I know. I spoke to processes and everything in between, just to show them that though I didn't finish school per se, I'm still very knowledgeable in the thing I want to get hired for.
That's super dope. Cousin, I've known you for a long time, and when we met, I actually met you around doing the Black Pro Mixer, and I was able to be on that, and then met you working around Ubisoft. But what's dope is now you're actually doing a lot of the more kind of social and content side when it comes to Xbox. What would you say is one of your biggest gaming highlights of what you're doing right now with the Xbox brand?
Right now with Xbox, I was actually a part of the Xbox showcase last year behind the scenes doing some content, and being able to meet Xbox fans from all over the world in LA and celebrate Xbox gaming, celebrate everything we had on the table, and creating content for that was really dope.
What would you give as a great advice for someone who wants to be, who's new getting into the industry when it comes to being able to network and meet people like yourself, like myself, within these spaces?
Be confident and do not be afraid to ask questions. A lot of times when we're putting into these big spaces and folks as popular as you, as very well versed as you, as very multifaceted as you, people might not want to talk to you. Oh, like, how am I going to talk to Midas? He's so good what he does. He's everywhere. I see him everywhere. I don't know what to say. I'm going to freeze up. Like, write down your question. Like, hey man, really appreciate the work you do. Like, I really love the stuff that you do, but can I ask you a question? And proceed to ask the question, because your biggest enemy is yourself. And if you don't ask that question, you're never going to know, right?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, it doesn't get answered, but at least you had the confidence to go forward and ask that question, which I know a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yeah.
They try to build up that confidence, that strength to go and ask that question.
And what's dope is the more people you speak to is the more confident you would get. And then when you meet people like us and there are certain things that you want, we're able to help you navigate the space in a way that you might not even have realized that you needed. All right. So, Kurston, I ain't watching your pockets, yeah? I ain't trying to find out how much money you are specifically earning. But for the parents who are watching and they want to know about career paths for the kids, how much can people earn being, say, a game developer, a content creator, a streamer? Like, what is the curve of pay for these kind of roles?
So that's super subjective, and also too, like, you're in the UK, I'm in Canada. That's gonna be like hella skewed, but
Yeah.
to do a very rough ballpark, for the most part, again, preface it by saying I'm speaking to Canadian right now, and you could start making as a QA QC anywhere between 35 to like 40,000 Canadian dollars for the year as a QA QC tester. That could go all the way up to like 6 figures plus, right? It just depends on your role, who's paying you, where you're located. For game streamers, that's where it gets kind of wild, because depending if you sign to a agency or a company or whatever that brand deal might be, they might pay you that or more. You might be able to be a streamer, you stream full time, 5 days a week. You can bring in maybe like $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
Right? It really depends.
So people want to know, Kurston. They're like, I want to get to that bag. How do I earn that P? How would you, not how would you, but what ways can you earn revenue working in the gaming industry? So we've already discussed actually being able to go and work, getting a job as a dev. But if you're a freelance creator or social media management and stuff like that, what are ways that you can actually earn revenue?
Honestly, it's all about like diversifying your skill set, right? So doing industry talks, using your skills for other things. Let's say you do social media for a gaming company, and let's say another company who works for, let's like branding, whatever. Hey, could you do some consulting with us about whatever the product is that we have? As long as there's not a non-compete, that shouldn't be an issue. And obviously, I'm not going to speak to everybody because it's going to be very different depending on who you are. But yeah, consulting and working on different side hustles, different side projects. There's always different ways to secure the bag. Trust me on that one.
Yeah. So going down that road is so dope. Like you're saying, consulting. So consulting could be a game developer might be doing a game, and the main character has African heritage, and they need someone to actually sit down and explain that heritage for them to be able to understand. Or it could be like you're super good at FPSs and they need advice on what's the best FPS thing. And then you've got the more social side where you're able to, like you said, create partnerships that are non-compete. So non-competes just meaning, say for example, you're doing a deal with a water company. We won't say what water company it is, and then you do a deal with this water company. They might put in a non-compete that you can't work with another water company within that time frame. And then one of the other things that's taking off a lot more now is the ambassador programs. And the ambassador programs work in various ways. You have companies who do ambassador programs. So for example, I'm not sure if Xbox do it, but I know some of the other devs do it, where you can actually earn revenue for getting people to buy stuff. But even if like you're a content creator and you've got headphones and a mic and stuff like that, you can create an Amazon affiliates thing where people can actually buy affiliate stuff off your link. So many people are earning money off stuff like TikTok Shop and stuff like that. So
a lot.
Yeah. I need to get on it. There's so many different ways that you can kind of navigate this space. All right, Kane, what advice would you give to an 18-year-old who wants to start their career in the gaming industry? They're not really sure where they want to do. They just know they love video games. They want to work in this. What would be a general advice that you'd give to someone?
Do your research. One of the most common misconceptions is that, oh, I don't know math. I suck at math. I can't do gaming, or I'm not a good artist. I can't do gaming. There are so many jobs that are out there and available that folks just don't know about. So really get an understanding for what your passion is, what you really want to do, whether it's 3D art, 2D art, concept art, audio design, level design, like marketing, like partner marketing, like anything under the sun. Like get a good foundation of what you really want to do, then research what it takes to get to that thing. And even go to different events where game industry people are going to be. So in North America, we just had PAX East, and I know GDC is happening right now in San Francisco or wherever it is. So show up to events like that, show up to local mixes and ask your questions. So going back full circle, ask your questions, do your research.
Yeah, ask your questions, do your research. That is so dope. Okay, so where does your passion from gaming come from? How did you fall in love with gaming?
Honestly, I just love games, right? It's just one of the things that growing up just brought me peace and brought me happiness. Is like I also love basketball. Shout out to Kobe. But it was basketball and games. They just were together the whole time. So when I wasn't hooping, I was gaming.
That's dope. Listen, I really need to get into Pokemon. What would you say is the Pokemon game that you think that would actually get me excited and draw me in, really make me fall in love with it?
Honestly, this is like, it's hard to say because you have people who like hate old school or new school people and vice versa, whatever it is, right? But if you've never played a Pokemon game before and you want something that is a little bit easier to get into, two potential answers, but I have to ask you a question. Have you ever played Pokemon Go?
Yes.
Do you like Pokemon Go?
I didn't love. Do you know what? My favorite Pokemon is Arceus.
Okay, so that was going to be my second one. I was going to say either play Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, or go Pokemon Arceus, because I think those two would be very good entry levels into like the Pokemon universe.
I think I like that kind of open aspect. All right, okay, I've got a last question for you. I need you to name me 3 black gamers or streamers or content creators that people should look at for that you highly rate.
Well, I'm going to be selfish. I got to go with my boy, the Mies, Pertamino, my right-hand man. He's an esports broadcaster. He deals a lot of things in Smash. He's incredibly talented at what he does. He's also like a Pokemon savant. He just knows everything to know about Pokemon. He's been viral on TikTok a bunch of different times. I'd say the Mies. Another Minnow member, I got to say Tiffany Witcher. She's a charity witch on Twitch she goes by. Very talented, does a lot of charity work for various organizations across the world. And lastly, I got to say you. I have nothing but the utmost respect for what you do. You're someone who I always enjoy hanging out with. I love seeing what projects you're doing, and you're my guy. I gotta say you 1,000%.
I appreciate that. I was not expecting to have my name in the cut, so I really appreciate that. Kurston, thank you so much. For me, it's so important to be able to share this knowledge, and this is what Black Tech Day are about. You've been in the space for a long time, and you've created some incredible things, and you're continuing to do incredible things. So thank you for giving us your time and giving us your knowledge. Where can the people find you if they want to connect, if they want to be part of the fam? Where do you want to send them?
Honestly, I'm not that busy on social media anymore because I work in social media. But if you want to see some outlandish good morning takes, just follow me on Instagram at K Von-Doom. I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at _K Von-Doom. And I actually had a viral TikTok go live 2 days ago, so I'm on TikTok too at K Von-Doom.
About Pizza Hut, so random.
Random.
I love it. And what days you stream on Xbox?
Yeah, so on Xbox we stream every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And yeah, so catch us at twitch.tv/Xbox Canada.
Well, once again, thank you for your time and thank you for staying with us. Remember, with Level Up, we're here to give you all of the information, all of the advice that you need. Now, make sure you follow us on Twitch. I'll be streaming on Twitch every Monday, 4:30 p.m. UK time. And we've got Ricky Troops, who is the first BTD game signing. He was on episode 1. You can catch him streaming every Wednesday and Sunday, if I'm not correct. But yeah, make sure you get involved. If you want to be part of the family, join, connect with us on Discord. And if you want to find out more information about Black Tech Divisions, stay to the end. I've been Mr. Midas. He's been K Von-Doom, and we out of here. Peace.
Dive into the world of coding, streaming, gaming, blockchain, public speaking, and much, much more. Just one membership provides generations with all the tools you need to rediscover yourselves and each other.
Do you sometimes struggle to connect with your kids? Do you feel like sometimes you're speaking a totally different language? Well, at Black Tech Divisions, we understand that. Our membership program fosters true connection through shared opportunities and interests.
Investing, streaming, drone piloting, public speaking, gaming, and so much more, which help everyone to uplift their income and bond more together. So take that first step to strengthening your family bond and join today. Your future self will thank you for the investment.